Cubs legend Ron Santo, Pat Hughes in Mesa. Let's see if the Cubs offense can wake up against Javier Vasquez. 4-0 White Sox. Ramirez, Fukudome, and DeRosa. Big crowd on a beautiful, warm Saturday. Here's a curve wrapped on the ground to short. Uribe scoops it up and throws out Ramirez. Ron, one away. Now, you were saying you were in an 0 for 12 slump.
Yeah, I was an 0 for 12 slump, but I had probably, Pat, literally hit about 7 line drives at somebody. And so I come into the dugout, you know, your teammates, you know, hang in there, hang in there, hang in there. And I turned around.
Careful, Ron.
We had a very small dugout, and I said, hang in there.
Fukudome pulls one deep and foul to right and out of play.
And I said a few other words.
I can imagine.
I was so, you know, you can hang in there. And I was praying for a ball to be, you know, get out of the slump. Mm-hmm. You know, a slow roller that I beat something out.
Bad hop.
Bad hop and a blooper, Texas League or anything.
Fukudome struck out his first time. He takes down low, and the count now is 1-1.
Plus, I took about 3 bats and broke those.
Do you remember how you finally broke out of the slump?
No, I really don't. But I think there was one other time in my career that I was 0 for something. I mean, that much. I mean, I've had bad days, bad series, but it was just, I was hitting the ball so well. It's just like you say, you know you're making good pitches, but they're getting basic.
No results?
No results.
Here's a pitch
and that's
inside.
what gets you. And the other thing that bothers me, and it bothers a lot of hitters, is when you strike yourself out. You got 2 strikes, you understand that better than anybody. And you go after a bad pitch and strike yourself out.
Wrapped on the ground to short, off the glove of Uribe into shallow left center. Fukudome going for 2. The throw to second base, the slide, save. Good hustle.
Very good hustle.
That's good baseball right there.
Now you gotta like that, and that will pump up, Pat, a team. I mean, when you see somebody like that running hard in the game, you know, that's a momentum changer.
Fukudome safe at second. We're waiting for the scoring. I would think a double. It was a one-hopper. Uribe, the shortstop, gloved it off to his side. It kicked off the leather and rolled into left center, and Fukudome never hesitated around first. I like that. Here's DeRosa. 4-0 Sox. DeRosa takes inside.
And he was running hard. He never let up a bit.
Say why I like that play, Ron, because if you get thrown out on that play, that's not a good play at all. You're down by 4 runs. You don't want to be making outs on base running mistakes. But if you're safe on a play like that, you can reverse the momentum in a game.
That's exactly right, Pat. And that speed, you know, somebody that doesn't have that speed, but he's got great speed, good instincts. But that's a good analogy right there.
DeRosa struck out looking his first time. The pitch lifted to right, shallow, dive, started back, coming in, makes the catch, 2 down. DeRosa retired on the fly ball to right.
Did they give him a double?
I believe they did. I'm looking at the scoreboard out there. And to tell you the truth, where we are located, it's hard to see the scoreboard.
I can't at all. I can see the scoreboard, but I can't see the numbers or anything like that.
I see that little ladybug out on the scoreboard.
Boy, these ladybugs fly around with you, don't they?
Giovanni Soto, the batter. And on a nice warm day, that little ladybug's wearing a cute bikini. Ron, do you see her out there on that scoreboard? Little pink polka dot bikini.
Yeah, right. Polka dot. It had to be polka dot.
She's wearing a little hair
brown,
bow.
Brown and white polka dot.
Here's the 0-1 to Soto. Swing and a miss, a slider. And the count 0-2. She's got a little bow in her hair. You don't really discuss the hair of a ladybug very often.
I don't see any.
Soto bounced out to second his first time. 4-0 White Sox. Vasquez backs away. See if the Cubs can cash in that hustling base-running move by Fukudome. You always feel like a team should be rewarded on a good play like that, when it's your side at least.
Yeah.
Now the 0-2, the pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. I'll tell you, Vasquez is tough. He's got very good stuff in today's game.
Great control with the stuff.
No runs, one hit, a man left. And a little hairy ladybug. And at the end of 4, White Sox 4, Cubs nothing. Fifth inning. It is the Third Bank fifth inning with Ron Santo, Pat Hughes in Mesa, Arizona. Sellout crowd, a beautiful, warm Saturday. Temperature in the mid-80s. White Sox got a run in the first and 3 in the fourth off Ted Lilly, who goes to work in the fifth inning on Jermaine Dye. First pitch, a big slow curve is high for a ball. It's 1-0. Again, Third Bank sponsoring Cubs baseball all season long in the fifth inning. They've been with us for several years now.
Yeah.
Lilly fires a strike. Nice to see Bill Jacobs from Chevrolet at the ballpark today with his sons. Here's a deep fly ball to left. Pretty well hit, but it is playable for Soriano, who makes the catch for out number 1.
That pitch was just enough outside for him not to get the real good part of the bat on it.
Ronnie, we got a lot of letters from fans. We appreciate the good old-fashioned notes. I know that emails are very popular these days, but I still like getting a letter in the little post office or
in the post office.
That's where you get most of your letters. I go several times a day, 4 or 5 times a day. They get a little tired of seeing me there.
Right.
Here is Creedy batting in the mailbox, I meant to say, as Lilly comes back. And Lilly fires a strike. But we got a nice note from Charlene Macaluso from Hobart, Indiana. Charlene has written us many notes over the years, and we thank her for checking in with us this spring. Lilly coming back to Creedy, and Joe swings at a good curve by Lilly and misses. Strike 3, 2 down.
Good. Very, very good.
2 gone. Here's Quentin. And we also got a letter from an Angelo Zera from Palatine, Illinois. Angelo is going to be 81 years old. He listens to our games all the time, and he says he's been following the Cubs since the summer of 1942.
Wow.
So thanks, Angelo, for listening, and thanks for writing. 2 outs. Here's Carlos Quentin taking high for a ball. Got an interesting-looking book from a new author by the name of Joe Harmon. The book is called Martha's Grove, and we thank Joe for sending that along. 2 outs, bases empty. Cubs trail 4-0 in the 5th inning.
You know, we got to get these bats going.
Here's a looper into shallow center. PA started in, goes back, makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down.
Very good.
Lilly works a 1-2-3 inning. After 4.5, White Sox 4, Cubs nothing. We go to the bottom of inning number 5. The Cubs have Felix P.A., Ted Lilly, and Mike Fontenot coming up against Javier Vasquez. Vasquez has been very stingy so far to the Cubs offense, giving up only 2 hits and no runs in 4 impressive innings.
Yeah.
P.A. leads it off. Felix popped out his first time.
And Lilly's going 6 innings.
Vasquez has struck out 5 Cubs. His first pitch in there for a strike. Darrell Cousins calling balls and strikes today. Jim Joyce, Doug Eddings, and Jim Wolf, the other impartial arbiters here in spring training. Now the 0-1. Hit high in the air into right field. Pretty well hit. Dye with room, blocking his eyes from the sun with his glove, makes the catch for out number 1. PA had a good swing on that one, just missed.
Yeah, it was an off-speed pitch, Pat, and he did have a good swing. But I see him, Pat, back to not as erect as he was at the beginning of spring, and I guess he was not comfortable, but yet he was swinging a bat much better. But now he's back to his old style.
Ted Lilly hits a fly ball to left. That'll be grabbed by Carlos Quentin, and there are 2 down. And here's Mike Fontenot. Received a copy of a very interesting book that I think Cub fans would enjoy, Ron. It's called Wrigley Season Ticket 2008. Wrigley Season Ticket 2008. A lot of our good friends wrote some fine articles. People like Bruce Miles and Rob Glowacki and Al Yellen, George Castle, Steve Leventhal, Ted Cox. There's some good articles.
Yeah.
A lot of in-depth coverage. Not only great stories about the Cubs and Lou Piniella and all of the personnel on this year's team, but a look at some of the up-and-coming players in the Cubs system, a look at the Central Division, the Cubs' opponents. Here's a swing and a miss. Anyway, Wrigley Season Ticket 2008. I read it cover to cover on a recent flight from Chicago to Phoenix.
And I just started.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, you've given me. It's really interesting.
Go to maplestreetpress.com for more information. maplestreetpress.com.
Ooh, change up.
Fontenot strikes out swinging, and Vasquez with 5 shutout innings under his belt. We go to the 6th here in Mesa. White Sox 4, Cubs nothing. Our producer engineer Ryan Oler says, "Go ahead, boys, start talking," as we move to the 6th inning. Ryan Oler has done a nice job during the Cactus League, and we thank him very much for his service. Matt Bolts, our regular season producer engineer, about to begin his 8th season. He'll join us in Las Vegas. I think, is it Friday he'll join us?
No, he'll join us. He's coming in Wednesday. We get him Thursday night. He'll be there before. We'll join him if he still has enough money left.
Brian Anderson fouls it away as the 6th inning gets underway. Anderson today with a pair of singles has driven in a run and scored a run.
He'll keep at least, if he's having a tough time, a couple bucks for a beer. That's for sure.
Just one. Maybe half a beer. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. Anderson takes upstairs. And Corey Provis, who does such a good job on the pre- and post-game shows and fills in for an inning of play-by-play every day. Corey is going to be here in a couple of days, and he'll be with us for the final 3 spring broadcasts. Here's the next pitch. Popped in the air, foul, out of play.
Had my first spill, Patrick, but it wasn't my fault. It was a young lady that wanted your autograph, and she handed me the book, and I hit the water, and then the can of pop. And anyway, it's a mess.
Curveball, strike 3, called a beauty to Brian Anderson. 1 away. Nice, slow curveball. Somehow I think she wanted your autograph, Ron, and that's why she shoved you the book and knocked over your bottle of water. 1 out.
Well, she wanted yours, too. She wanted a picture of both of us.
Here's Toby Hall batting. Breaking ball in the dirt. Ball 1. 4-0 White Sox in the 6th. These two teams, of course, will once again play 6 regular season interleague games, and they come in back-to-back weekends in June. Swing and a miss. Beautiful change. The first 3 are at Wrigley Field starting on Friday, June the 20th. And then the following weekend, beginning on the 27th, 3 on the south side. So 6 games in a 10-day period. Swing and a miss. He got him.
Wow, another good changeup.
Actually, that's only strike 2. I got a little carried away there.
Wow, that was good changeup.
Still was. No balls and 2 strikes on Hall. Ted Lilly, the lefty, rocks and fires. Hold on the ground at third, backhanded by Ramirez from foul territory. Long throw, got it.
Got him. What a nice play by D. Lee. A hop that he had to come off the bag to get, then made the tag. Nice play by both parties.
2 outs, and the batter will be Javier Vasquez.
How about him? He's going to go 7 innings, probably, or maybe. Yeah, I don't see anybody warming up.
Top of the 6th, 2 down, nobody on. 4-0 White Sox. Vasquez swings and misses. Lilly had one of the wins for the Cubs against the Sox last year. The Cubs were 5-1 against the White Sox, and Lilly chalked up one of those. Here's a ground ball to third. Ramirez up with it. The toss across, and Lilly works another 1-2-3. He has set down 7 in a row. We go to the bottom of the 6th. White Sox 4, Cubs nothing. There has not yet been a pitching change today, but for all pitching changes this season, Jiffy Lube once again is our sponsor. For a quick oil change, go to Jiffy Lube. Pat and Ron in Arizona, 4-0 White Sox. Sox scored a run in the first. Juan Uribe with a run-scoring single. They got 3 in the fourth, 3 different run-scoring base hits, 1 each by Brian Anderson, Pablo Osuna, and Juan Uribe. Meanwhile, the Cubs have been handcuffed by Javier Vasquez with only 2 hits through 5 innings. Alfonso Soriano will lead off in the 6th. Soriano, Lee, and Ramirez. Here's the pitch by the right-hander. Curveball inside, ball 1. Ron and I will work again for you tomorrow over in Peoria, Arizona. Cubs take on the San Diego Padres. Here's a liner foul to left. Out of play. San Diego, you talk about a team that suffered a heartbreaking conclusion to their season last year. My goodness.
Oh, I remember that, Pat. Oh.
Twice they were within a save by Trevor Hoffman of making the postseason.
Right.
Twice.
2 outs.
Swing and a miss by Soriano.
Both times, wasn't it?
Well, the first time
it
was.
It was 2 outs.
And then the second time, a 2-run lead in that extra inning playoff game in Colorado. Swing and a miss. Soriano is gone. Wow. You know, Ron, I've been watching Vasquez pitch for, well, really his entire career, almost a decade, I would think, going back to his days with the Montreal Expos. I don't remember him throwing this hard. He is really throwing the ball right past the Cubs today.
He is, because he's changed his speed so much, Pat. They're not looking for the velocity, and this spring he's got it. Look at that breaking ball. He starts everybody off with a breaking ball. If you know, you got to figure it out. You got to say, well, what's he getting me out with? What's he striking me out with? And he just changed his speed so well that it's fooling her. Here's another one right on the corner.
Outside to Lee, 1-1. 6 strikeouts for Vasquez. He's always been a quick worker. He's got good rhythm today. Lee chops it foul on a change, 1-2. Vasquez walked the leadoff man, Mike Fontenot, and has not issued a free pass since. 4-0 White Sox in the 6th with 1 away. Nobody on.
It's got to be, what, 36?
Lee takes a fastball just low, and it's 2-2.
I would think he's 36.
Let's see if we can look up a little info on Javier Vasquez.
And just like that last pitch, Pat, 2 off-speed pitches and then a good fastball.
Here's a smash fair past Konerko toward the right field corner. Derek Lee with an extra base hit, racing towards second. He's thinking 3. Here comes the relay. Lee to third, a sliding triple. Lee, a hot smash that ate up Konerko and skittered on down into the right field corner. Good hustle by Derek Lee.
Yeah. Very good hustle.
Answering your question on Vasquez, he is going to be 32 years old in July.
God. Gee.
32 in July.
Well, he's still got a lot left. I thought you said a decade.
But he was a kid, Ron, when he came up with Montreal. I remember he was like 21, 22 as a big leaguer.
Yeah.
Here is Ramirez, infield back, and Ramirez with a chance to put the Cubs on the board with 1 away. Lee at third, first pitch outside.
Who do you go with at first?
Well, let's see. He's bounced around. He's been with the Yankees, the Diamondbacks, now with the White Sox.
Who'd he come up with?
Montreal.
Oh, so he's the best. Yeah. Okay,
fastball swung on and missed.
He had great stuff. He was young.
Saw him pitch a shutout against the Cubs at old Olympic Stadium up in Montreal.
The big toilet bowl. Oh, is that a terrible stadium?
I can tell you really miss being there, Ron. Here's the 1-1 now to Ramirez. Cracked on the ground to first, base hit. Lee scores. Ramirez going for two. He's going to have a double. Chasing the ball in the right field corner is Jermaine Dye, and the Cubs finally break the ice and get on the board against Vasquez. Ramirez an RBI double. Almost a carbon copy of Lee's ball a moment before.
Well, you know, those pitches are pretty good pitches. They're hitting the other way. I thought Lee got jammed a little bit and went the other way, and Ramirez that time was down and away, and he just went that way.
RBI double for Ramirez, his 10th run batted in this spring. It is now a 4-1 ball game with one away in the bottom of the sixth. Ramirez at second, and here's Kosuke Fukudome. Kosuke takes a fastball high. Vasquez, 216 innings a year ago, 213 strikeouts. Had better than a 4-1 ratio of strikeouts to walk.
Yeah.
Fukudome takes a strike.
He had, didn't he have Tommy John surgery? I think he had some kind of surgery when he was in Montreal or when he left Montreal.
Ronnie, I'll look that up here. We do not have a copy of the Sox
Don't
book
worry
here
about
this afternoon.
I knew.
There's a fastball inside to Fukudome.
I just thought I remembered him having some kind of surgery, and he was really moving around because of that. But now he's very healthy.
He's made at least 30 starts for 8 straight years.
Well, then maybe he never had an injury.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. And a pitch is high for a ball. I'm looking up now. There's a picture of a horse next to Javier. It says he has been as healthy as the picture you see on your left.
It's like he really did make 30. You made me really feel bad.
It said, Ron, on one of the years, here's Fukudome slicing it foul. One of the years when he made those 30 starts, he made half of the starts wearing a sling around his right shoulder, which made it very difficult for him. Fukudome with a count of 3 balls and 2 strikes. 4-1 White Sox in the 6th inning. Fukudome with a double his last time up. Kosuke, left-handed hitter, holds that bat high. The pitch. Low and inside, ball 4. Good A.B.
Great A.B.
And now Lou Piniella will go to the bench for the first time today as Eric Patterson is going to bat for Mark DeRosa. Patterson, a left-handed hitter, hitting over 300 this spring. And a long ball could tie this game up.
And he's hit a couple, a few long balls in the minor leagues. He's a good little hitter. At the beginning of the spring, he's had a lot of playing time. And he's a guy that's going to hit the ball all fields.
Check swing ground ball to third. Creedy will go to second. They get 1, and that's all.
Oh, you just hate to see that. You know, a little bit anxious. Came in on him, and he wasn't ready for that. You don't want to. Sure, you want to come off the bench swinging the bat, but boy, you want to make sure you get a good pitch.
On the play, Ramirez advanced to third. Patterson safe at first on the 5-4 fielder's choice. 2 outs, 2 on for Giovanni Soto. Soto looking for his first homer of the spring.
Yeah, Soto having a tough spring also, but he's a good hitter.
Pitch hit in the air, deep right center, back toward the wall. That ball is going to be off the center field fence.
All right.
2 runs will score, and it's a 4-3 ball game, a double for Giovanni Soto.
He hung a breaking ball. Soto waited on it. I thought it was gone. He just nailed it. That's the only mistake we've seen him make today, Vasquez.
It's short hop the wall just to the right of dead center. Soto missed a home run by maybe 10 feet. And the Cubs are right back in this game, down by only 1, and here is Felix Pie. 3 extra base hits in the inning against Vasquez. Pie is 0 for 2. And he takes a change outside, ball one.
You could see probably, Pat, spring training, I know he's in the sixth inning here, and he's probably a little tired and starting to make some bad pitches. Although the two hits were pretty good pitches.
Swing and a miss by PA. Cubs with 3 hits in the inning, 5 in the game against Vasquez. The left-handed batting PA trying to get the Cubs even. And he takes a fastball strike at the knees on the outside, 1-2. Lou Piniella waiting for the Cub offense to show some signs of life.
Yeah, we talk about that. We talked about it today. I'd just like to see a few more runs. And, of course, Lou's a guy.
Line drive, base hit, right center, game is tied. Felix PA comes through. Giovanni Soto scores the tying run. PA went down and hit a low breaking ball.
Well, he did a good job. Like I said, he did. Pat called it perfectly. Went right down and just golfed it into right field. I think that's going to be it.
Felix PA, a game-tying RBI single to right center. Ozzie Guillen, the manager, heads to the mound. Both teams have their bullpens working out beyond the right field fence. Getting back to Kerry Wood, Ron, I started to talk about Kerry Wood, and in fact I won't bring it up now because a pitching change is coming up. For a quick oil change, go to Jiffy Lube. Cubs 4, White Sox 4, back in a flash on the WGN Cubs Radio Network. Darrell Ward is going to lead off against the new White Sox pitcher, left-hander Matt Thornton. Lefty against lefty. Cubs battling back to get even, scoring 4 in this inning against Javier Vasquez. Ramos Ramirez started the scoring with the RBI double. Giovanni Soto pumping life into the rally with a 2-run double. And Felix PA tying the game. Ward lines it foul to right, pulling an off-speed pitch foul against the left-hander.
Well, Ward at the beginning of the spring had a little back problems, but he's been healthy ever since. And, boy, you talk about a good spring, Pat. And we're not talking about a guy just a few floaters out there. He's been hitting nothing but line drives, driving in runs, and he's a big man coming off the bench. I talked to Ward about the fact of becoming a Cub, and he just loves being here.
Thornton will chase PA back to the bag. This is a spot where if you do like to run and steal bases, this might be a time for you in a tie game in the 6th inning with 2 down.
The only thing is you got a left-hander that I don't think PA knows that well. and you don't want to get picked off.
True. Thornton is ready and delivers. Ward swings and misses. Took a good rip, came up empty. 0-2.
See, this is a good count, I think, for PA to go right here, because it's going to be a pitch. He's going to try to get it out of the strike zone. Usually it's going to be a breaking ball, and you can get a good jump. He might know that himself.
Here's a fastball outside to Darrell Ward.
He wasted a pitch with a fastball. This is even a better count for him to go.
Ward batting for Ted Lilly, who worked 6 innings. Ted will have a no decision. Could still have a win, I guess.
Yeah.
Now the pitch. Curve bounced toward first. Glove by Konerko. Steps on the bag to end the inning. So the Cubs get even, scoring 4 times in the inning. They leave 1. We go to the 7th. It's the Cubs 4 and the White Sox 4.
The exclusive Weather Channel forecast.
Cubs baseball today brought to you by Unique Indoor Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning. Lots of heat in the ballpark. Good time for some AC here in the Valley of the Sun. Cubs and White Sox tied at 4. Kerry Wood to appear today. Missed a day with back spasms earlier this week, but the plan for Kerry Wood is for him to work both today and tomorrow, 1 inning presumably each day. And if he passes that test physically, Lou Piniella, according to Cubs media relations man Peter Chase, here's a fastball strike on the outside. If Wood is still healthy, Ron, after the back-to-back weekend, Lou Piniella is ready to pronounce that he is the closer.
Absolutely. That's definite. If he's feeling fine, when, you know, and right now, I mean, I can understand why Lou's doing this because of the fact that this spring, he looks just like he did with the confidence, the fastball. I mean, he's literally throwing the ball by people at 97, 96. Good breaking ball, but he's got a look, Pat, that is saying, I'm going to get you out.
1-2 on Pablo Osuna, the hard-throwing right-hander. Kerry Wood fires. Fastball fouled away. When you think about Lou Piniella wanting Wood to work back-to-back games, that makes perfect sense. When you do get on a roll and you win 4 or 5 or maybe 7 out of 8 games, here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him on a curveball. Fooled him badly. When you get into those stretches, Ron, where if your team gets hot, and this Cubs team is certainly hoping to do that several times this year, your closer is a vitally important guy in those stretches.
Yes, very definitely. And Pat, you got to remember he's being protected also when you say today, tomorrow, probably he'll be going 2 days in a row. I mean, we talk about during the season, but let's just say that, hey, 2 days, we don't want to overdo it. So you got Marmol and you got Howery to pick him up if you had to. But Lou is not a guy, Pat, that likes to have a bullpen by committee and likes to let that person that's throwing in the ninth inning. I think that's important.
It's the best formula.
Yeah, absolutely. The mentality is what it's all about.
Uribe takes outside for a ball. But we've seen some guys get saves in 3, 4, maybe even 5 straight days.
Absolutely.
And you got to do that if you're a closer. Your team needs you to stay on that roll. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Gary Wood threw it right by him, 2-2.
Wow. And that ball, he's effortless, where he wasn't before when he came back with the injury. And but now you can just know.
Fastball swung on and missed. Strike 3. Up around the shoulders, Uribe chasing a high, hard one from Kerry Wood. Back-to-back strikeouts, and here's Paul Konerko.
It's almost like he's saying, here's the fastball, hit it. Oh, man.
Cubs and White Sox tied 4-4. We are in the 7th inning. Wood has struck out back-to-back hitters. And here is Konerko, 0-for-3.
Who's a good fastball hitter. And Terry knows it.
Fastball low. Crowd kind of buzzing here at Hohokam Park in Mesa. Wood trying to resurrect his career out of the bullpen. Here's the pitch. Swinging a high pop fly. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning from all appearances. The right fielder Fukudome squeezes it.
Beautiful.
Kerry Wood works 1-2-3. Time for the stretch. Brought to you by Citgo. It's 4-4, the Cubs and the Sox. Kerry Wood gets a standing ovation from these Cub fans here in Mesa. Time for the 7th inning stretch.
WGN.
Mike Fontenot swings and hits a ground ball into right field. A leadoff single here in the bottom of the 7th inning for the Cubs. Fontenot hung right in there against the left-hander Matt Thornton. And the batter is Alfonso Soriano. Cubs 4, White Sox 4. Cubs baseball today brought to you by Unique Indoor Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning. Kerry Wood received a very nice ovation from these fans.
Oh, yeah. They love him. Fans love him.
Ozzie Guillen is going to make a pitching change. For a quick oil change, go to Jiffy Lube. Cubs 4, Sox 4. Back in a moment on the WGN Cubs Radio Network. Octavio Dotel, former Houston Astros closer, at one time a very hard-throwing right-hander, has had some major elbow surgery, trying to get back to where he was before the surgery, and he is going to be a part of the Sox bullpen this season. He's going to face Alfonso Soriano with Mike Fontenot at first, nobody out in a tie game, bottom of inning number 7. Soriano 0-for-3 against Javier Vasquez. Dotel fires, swinging a foul back. Dotel, one of those guys that is not bashful about challenging hitters.
Well, at one time, Pat, he was almost unhittable with his fastball, but you knew the way he threw the ball, he was going to have arm problems eventually.
Game tied at 4 in the 7th. Now Dotel coming back to Soriano, swing and a miss. I remember those years, Ron, sometime in the early part of this decade when the 1-2 punch in the Astros bullpen was this guy in the 8th inning and then Billy Wagner in the 9th.
How about that?
It was tough.
Right, left.
Yeah, and they both threw about 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, right.
There goes Fontenot. The pitch, strike 3 call. Throw to second. Slide out. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. Soriano caught looking at a fastball, and the catcher Phillips made a very good throw to second on the 2-6 caught stealing.
You know, it's hard to say, but I thought Fontenot might have beat that, but that was a fastball, hard pitch to, and especially the velocity he throws to steal a base. So it was a good strikeout and a throw out. I mean, that was excellent throw.
Paul Phillips, the new catcher for the Sox, made that perfect throw to second. 2 down, nobody on. Tie game, 7th inning for Derek Lee. Strike 0-1. Waiting for the attendance today, somewhere in the 12,700 neighborhood, I would think.
Yes, I would agree. Probably one of the largest.
Lee looks at a strike, a good fastball. Dotel looks like he's throwing pretty well.
Yeah, he is throwing very well. And it's where he throws from, Pat, that's hard to pick up. Whether he's throwing, when he's really throwing hard, where when he did, very tough to pick up. I mean, it looked like 150 miles an hour coming at you.
The 0-2. Swinging a foul at the plate over toward the first base coaching box area where Matt Sinatra is hanging out. Matt celebrating a birthday today, 48 years old. Mike Quaddy in the box at third. Lee started the Cubs rally with an opposite field triple back in the sixth inning. Derek 2 for 3 today. Dotel's delivery, curve in the dirt, check swing by Derek.
You know, I was just thinking about March Madness, and I think the first 8 games went the way they should have gone. Meaning, you know, no favorites really got beat, but then now it's been turned around, hasn't it?
A lot of upsets, Ron. Here's
Yeah.
the pitch. Lee takes strike 3 call. Dotel works through the inning. Cubs don't score. We got a good one going in Mesa at the end of 7. Cubs 4, White Sox 4.
Hey, everybody, it's David Kaplan. Tune in to Sports.
Did any of the number 1, well, I know Duke was seated second.
Let's see, who else?
San Diego beat a team.
Hey, Ronnie. Ronnie, did you sign something? Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stanton. Thank you very much.
Bobby Howry is the new Cubs pitcher. We go to inning number 8 with Cubs legend Ron Santo. Pat Hughes bringing you the action today. We thank you for listening, and we thank all of our great sponsors on Cubs Radio. Back for what could be a very enjoyable ride during the season. Ron, the Cubs would like me to remind you that you know about opening day, and there's probably a feeling from some fans that all the games are sold out. That is not the case. There are tickets available for virtually every game at Wrigley Field for the entire season. So give the Cubs a call at 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit Cubs.com for ticket info. 8th inning, Jermaine Dye swings away, fouls it away as Howry, the former White Sox, challenged him with a good fastball. That opening series with the Brewers starts on Monday, March 31st, continues on Wednesday, April 2nd, and wraps up on the 3rd, a Thursday. All 3 games begin at 1:20 in the afternoon. Fastball strike. Those first 2 games, by the way, for the first 30,000 adults 21 and older, you'll receive a Cubs magnet schedule, compliments of old style.
I think there's 12,800 here today.
Here's the 0-2 by Howry. Dye takes inside for a ball. So you're looking at a whopper crowd.
Whopper. Yeah.
Folks on those hillsides out beyond the fence.
And look at the fans walking in between. Sure.
Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Lifted to right, foul out of play. Well, Ron, I would like to watch the fans, but I get so locked in on the play-by-play, the action on the field, that I really don't have time to look into the stands.
Well, I noticed that, Patrick, because usually when I'm on the field, you're telling me, take a look at that.
I'm not the one that brings binoculars to the park, though.
Yeah, well, I only bring them to see the pitchers, see how they're throwing. And
Fastball inside, and the count now is 2-2. Sometimes your binoculars are focused nowhere near the bullpen.
no, not the bullpens, the mound right out here, the game itself. To check everybody out there on the field.
Guy nothing for 3. Now the 2-2 from Howry. Here it comes. Swinging a pulled ground ball foul past third. Cubs 4, White Sox 4 here in the 8th inning. Same time tomorrow, 3:05 Central. Cubs against San Diego. And then Ronnie will have the final 3 spring training games beginning this Thursday. Cubs take on the Brewers here, and then the 2 games in Las Vegas against Seattle.
Okay, how do you, from where you are, how do you get to Peoria?
Guy strikes out swinging. 1 away here in the 8th inning, and the batter is Joe Creedy.
Because I'm coming from the North Scottsdale on 101, and you're going to be catching 101 on the south side, right?
That's exactly right.
Okay, so now when you go to Bell,
yes.
okay, now when you get on Bell, do you turn left or right?
I believe it's a right, Ronnie. I think the park is just off to the right of the freeway.
Of your...
Creedy takes down low for a ball, and the count is 1-0.
Oh, the right of the freeway.
Mm-hmm.
So you would get, if you got off, you would go left at that, where the ballpark is. No.
Actually, Ron, if the freeway,
well,
if the park is
I'm
on the
coming,
right.
I'm coming, it would be on the right for me coming the other way. I get off at Bell. I turn left on Bell and go to a street to turn right on, I would say.
1 ball and 1 strike on Creedy. Tie game, 8th inning. Here's a pitch fouled away. Off to the right. 1-2.
Now Ryan's telling me it's east of the freeway. So I would go right when I get off on Bell.
Ronnie, listening to you, I would advise you to start very early tomorrow morning.
Listen to me, I don't think I'm going. I got very confused with surprise.
Here's a line drive, base hit to center, a 1-out single for Joe Creedy here in the 8th inning. Howry to work from the stretch as he will watch the big figure of Carlos Quentin make his way to the plate. The attendance today, 12,859.
How about that?
Good guess. That is one of the biggest they've ever had here.
Right.
Tie game, 1 away, 8th inning. Howry's pitch, and it hits Quentin in the left arm near the elbow. Runners at first and second with only 1 away. Both teams have their bullpens going. Howry uncharacteristically hitting a batter. You won't see that very often. And now Brian Anderson, who already has 2 hits for the day, stepping in. Creedy at second and Quentin at first in the 8th.
That pitch there, though, was on the inside and just moved in and got him. Glanced off of him.
Anderson takes upstairs for a ball. It's 1-0. No wind in the ballpark right now. Flag's perfectly still. The center fielder PA shading toward right center against Anderson. Howry's 1-0. Popped up. This ball is foul, possibly playable for Soto. It is. He's got it.
Very good.
2 down.
Very good.
Soto didn't see it right away. Finally located the ball, then almost overran it as he chased it back toward the screen.
Well, as you know, those kind of pop-ups, and they work on it in spring training. Boy, I tell you, they look like they're going into the stands, and it just comes right back to you.
2 outs. And Phillips batting. Paul Phillips, backup catcher who made that good throw on the back end of the strike him out, throw him out double play back in the 7th, facing Howry. In the tie ball game with 2 down and 2 on the pitch. Good fastball strike, his best one yet. Howry, in the second half of last season, one of the more effective bullpen men in the big leagues. He was a big part of the Cubs division championship. The pitch. Check swing. It's off the inside edge. I'm always amazed at Howry, Ronnie. Invariably, he's going to be in those ball games in maximum pressure situations, and yet he never appears nervous. Never appears uptight. That's a very impressive quality to me.
It really is, yes. And the second half of the season, he was remarkable.
The 1-1 off the outside, just missed. It's 2-1. I think guys who have been around for a long time, like Bobby Howry, it's almost as if to say, Ronnie, I've been here before. I'm either going to get the job done or I'm not. There's no need to really panic. Just go out, try to make your pitches, let the chips fall where they may. The 2-0. Here's a pop-up foul out of play. I know it's a lot more difficult and not as simplistic as I made it sound, but that's really it.
Yeah, that is it. But to me, it's his personality. He's a very quiet guy. He'll say hello to you, won't walk by you without, but he's just a quiet kind of guy. When he's on that mound, he's all business, and the concentration is fantastic.
It's 2-2 on Phillips. Here's a pitch bounced foul past third. And another impressive thing about veteran relievers and some young relievers is that necessary ability to bounce back after you struggle for a game or two.
Yeah.
You've got to forget about it. And that is easier said than done, I'm sure. But it's necessary. The season is too long. Here's the 2-2. From Howry. Phillips fouls it away over our heads and out of play. So no empty seats in the ballpark today. 12,859. Cubs surpassing for the season the 150,000 plateau, averaging just under 12,000 a game. Cubs have the highest home attendance of any of the 30 big league teams. Here's the pitch. Sliced foul down the right field line and back out of play. Cubs pitching has been a strong suit this spring. There are a couple of relievers, in fact, yet to allow an earned run. Carmen Pignatello, a lefty, and Michael Wirtz, a right-hander.
Really, Pignatello has done a great job, Pat, and of course, and Marmol has only allowed one, I think.
Here's the pitch, driven toward right center, on the run, PA in the alley, makes the running catch.
All right.
PA got a good jump. The left-hander made a backhanded running catch at shoulder level on the dead run. Nice play, inning over. Howry puts a goose egg on the board. No runs, a hit, 2 left. Middle of the 8th, Cubs 4, Sox 4. The big man, the closer for the White Sox, appearing in a tie game in the last of the 8th inning. Bobby Jenks on the mound. Barrel-chested right-hander, very, very hard thrower.
Boy, I tell you talk about hard is right.
Gets it up close to 100 miles an hour. Cubs baseball today brought to you by Unique Indoor Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning. Lots of pitching changes. We thank Jiffy Lube for all of those. Cubs were down 4-0 at one time. They scored all of theirs in a cluster of extra base hits in the 6th inning to tie the game at 4, and that's where we are in the last of the 8th. Bobby Jenks to a Ramos Ramirez. First pitch fouled away, 0-1. This is a good battle right here. You got a slugger up there, a Ramos Ramirez. All sluggers love to hit the heat, the fastballs.
Yeah, if they're in that 95 range.
And Jenks will challenge you. From the stretch, here's the pitch. Ramirez hits a high fly ball into deep left field, but it's playable for Quentin near the track, and he makes the catch. 1 away. Ramirez gone. Tie game in the 8th. The batter, Kosuke Fukudome. This date in Cubs history, always brought to you by AT&T. We'll wait until the regular season to document historical data on particular dates. But we thank AT&T for sponsoring a topic that we dearly love, baseball history. Here's Fukudome. Here's a liner toward left, falling in there for a base hit. Fukudome, a 1-out opposite field single, his second hit of the day.
Yeah, let's see. He's got good speed. I'm sure it might be a little tough to run on Dirk because he throws so hard. But let's see what happens here.
The left-handed batting Eric Patterson, who appeared as a pinch hitter back in the 6th and grounded out on the only pitch he saw, faces Jenks. Here's the pitch. Line to right. Coming in as Dime makes the catch.
Oh, man.
Hard hit ball straight to the right fielder, 2 down. Fukudome holding at first, 2 outs. And it brings up Giovanni Soto. Soto with the Cubs' big blow of the day, a 2-out, 2-run double back in the 6th inning. Patterson lined out, 2 down. Soto batting. Let's keep an eye on Fukudome now with 2 outs. The stretch by Jenks in the pitch. Curveball inside, ball 1. Bobby Jenks, the closer. The Sox also have a starter by the name of John Danks. Sound alike names, Danks and Jenks. I wasn't aware of it. Tom Hanks brought it up. Here's a pitch high for a ball. The count is now 2-0 on Giovanni Soto.
Well, Jenks does not look like he's overthrowing. You know what I mean? He looks like he's in the 90s.
There goes Fukudome. It's only a bluff. The pitch down low, and it's 3-0.
Oh, he's not going to be going now.
Green light here, Ron?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Why not? Soto awaiting the 3-0 from Jenks. Takes high, ball 4. 2 on, 2 down. The go-ahead run in scoring position for Felix Pie, who has already delivered 1 clutch 2-out run scoring hit today. Pie stroked a single off Javier Vasquez to tie the game at 4 back in the 6th. Bobby Jenks ready, glancing back at Fukudome. The pitch. Pie takes high, ball 1.
Let's get a base hit right here.
Micah Hoffpar is on deck for the Chicago Cubs. The Sox outfield shading PA toward left. They don't think he can pull Jenks here. The 1-0. Lifted foul off to the left, out of play. Thinking about it, probably not many guys are going to pull the ball against Jenks.
Yeah, not many. But I mean, he did. You know, the spring training, I don't think he's going to overdo it. But he's got a tremendous fastball when he's really on. But today he looks like he's hittable. Believe me.
PA awaiting the 1-1 pitch from Bobby Jenks. Fukudome walking off to his lead at second. He's got good speed. And the pitch, PA hits one in the air foul. He was a little bit late on a good fastball.
Yeah.
1-2.
A little bit up too, and this is a guy you want to, you want to make him get it down because you're a better chance of hitting that fastball down than up.
Boy, that can be tough, though, to lay off those high fastballs.
Especially when you throw as hard as he does.
Here's the 1-2. Curve in the dirt. PA let it go. It's blocked nicely by Phillips. 2-2. A 1-out single by Fukudome and a 2-out walk to Giovanni Soto has given the Cubs a scoring chance in this tie game in the bottom of the 8th inning. Jenks deals 2-2. Swing and a miss. The bat goes flying. Inning over. The bat on the follow-through sailed over the right shoulder of PA and actually hit the backstop screen on the fly. Nobody got nailed. Cubs don't score. We go to the 9th inning. It's the Cubs 4 and the White Sox 4.
Popular man. Do appreciate it. All right.
Right-hander Kevin Hart is out to pitch the 9th inning. The White Sox will have the 9, 1, and 2 spots coming up in this tie game. And again, we invite you to stay tuned for the post-game show with Corey Provis a little bit later on. Corey will have the pregame tomorrow prior to the Cubs' San Diego game over in Peoria, Arizona. Kevin Hart, young right-hander, he's had a good spring.
Boy, he sure has.
Go ahead, Ron.
Well, he's made the ball club, Pat. There's no doubt. He's had a very good spring. He had a great September. He came in, and this is another very cool guy on the mound with good stuff. Reminds me a lot of Howry and the attitude. You know, he doesn't get upset, but he's also another guy that's kind of a quiet guy, but he's got great stuff.
Nick Swisher is pinch hitting for the White Sox here to begin the 9th inning, a 4-4 tie. The pitch by Hart on the way. Fastball sinks low, ball 1. This is the final meeting of the spring between the two clubs. The Sox winning a week ago today down in Tucson. The Cubs trying to return the favor today. Here's the pitch fouled away, off to the left, out of play. Ted Lilly started, went 6 innings. Kerry Wood, if you missed it, worked a very impressive 1-2-3 inning in the 7th with a couple of strikeouts. But it was the way he did it. Throwing very hard and just looking good on the mound. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Bobby Howry with a scoreless inning in the 8th. Lilly did not really pitch badly. Gave up very few hard hit balls.
Right.
In his 6 innings. And again, Ted will make one more start prior to the regular season against Milwaukee. He's going to pitch in that opening series, not the opening game. That assignment belongs to Carlos Zambrano, but Lilly will pitch game 2 on Wednesday, April the 2nd. Tomorrow, Jason Marquis against Greg Maddux. Here's the pitch. High pop fly, shallow left, racing in toward the line is Soriano, still coming. He gets there to make the catch. Fontenot, the shortstop, had also drifted out into shallow left, but that was Soriano's play.
You know, last time we faced Maddux, he got a line drive off his foot, I think it was. And he left the game because of spring training, but I know he's fine because I read where he said, you know, if this was not spring training, I would have stayed in.
Derek Lee hit that ball, I believe. Here's Pablo Osuna. Speaking of Maddux, I was reading about his former teammate John Smoltz, who was held out of a start by Bobby Cox. And Smoltz made a good point, Ron. He said in the spring, you know, there's no need to risk any injury. He had a little tenderness in his shoulder, I think I read, and he said you don't try to pitch through the pain in the spring. You do in the regular season sometimes, but not before the regular year.
Yeah.
Here's a pitch down low for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes on Pablo Osuna. One other injury to update. The Pirates announced yesterday that Freddie Sanchez, the former batting champion, their second baseman, will start the season on the 15-day disabled list. His surgically repaired right shoulder bothering him.
Wow.
There is a strike. And I bring up that run because the Cubs play the Pirates several games in the early going. The Cubs are the Pirates' home opener on Monday, April 7 in Pittsburgh. And then the Pirates are at Wrigley starting April 19. Swing and a miss. And it's 2-2. Ian Snell signed to a multiple-year deal by the Pirates recently.
Yeah, he was happy to sign with the Pirates. He wants to end his career there.
1 away, tie game, nobody on, top of the 9th. The pitch by Hart. Broken bat, pop fly, right side, foul, playable. Derek Lee, he's got it, 2 down. That bat shattered into 3 chunks of wood. Osuna inspecting the small handle with a jagged edge as he walks back toward the third base dugout. 2 outs. It's up to Juan Uribe in a tie game here in the 9th. Each team with 4 runs on 8 hits. Here's the pitch on the way by Hart. Lifted to deep right. Pretty well hit. Back is Fukudome. Back near the bullpen. That ball is gone. Opposite field home run for Juan Uribe, and the White Sox lead by a score of 5-4. A shocking 2-out opposite field home run by Juan Uribe.
You know, he's hit some home runs off of us, Pat, during the season, and they were thinking of getting rid of him. They gave him an extension, and then they were going to trade him. Wow. You could see the way Fukudome went to the wall and just had to watch it. That was a fastball.
And here's Paul Konerko. 5-4 White Sox here in the ninth inning. The pitch by Hart is in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. So the Sox have taken a lead with 2 outs here in the ninth inning. And the pitch to Konerko, who is 0 for 4. Konerko takes outside for a ball. Uribe launching one a long way. It got out of here by plenty into the Cub bullpen. Konerko takes down low, so the Cubs will have to come back in the bottom of the ninth. Sox have their bullpen going. I don't think they'd use Bobby Jenks for more than 1 inning in a spring game.
No, I don't either.
So we'll see somebody new in the bottom half. Here's the pitch by Hart. And Konerko lines one down the left field line. Hooking, foul. Just foul. Sox 5, Cubs 4. Top of inning number 9. 2 down. Thing about guys who hit home runs, and you always hear about fans or writers or even broadcasters, anybody, they'll say, hey, just made one mistake. But I think, Ron, really, and you hit some opposite field home runs.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the big leagues, I say, let's just give credit to the hitter. You know, you're a big leaguer too, and if you hit an opposite field home run, you know, I don't know if that's always a mistake by a pitcher.
No, that isn't always a mistake. I mean, first of all, a mistake for a pull hitter, if he hits the ball out, it's just a fastball that probably was about belt high away, and you just made an extension, and the ball just jumps off your bat. No, I agree. Not all home runs are bad pitches. Not at all.
Sometimes the hitter should get the credit.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
2-2 pitch. Ground ball past the mound, fielded by Eric Patterson. The second baseman throws out Konerko. But the homer by Uribe has given the White Sox the lead in the middle of the ninth inning. We go to the bottom half. Cubs down to their last chance. White Sox 5, Cubs 4. Left-hander Boone Logan gets the assignment of trying to nail down the save for the White Sox. The Cubs in their dugout are thinking about getting a rally to pull this one out. It's 5-4 White Sox, bottom of the ninth inning. Ronnie Cedeno, it looks like. Yep. Ronnie Cedeno is going to lead off for the Cubs in the bottom of the ninth against the lefty, Boone Logan. Cedeno batting for Kevin Hart. First pitch pulled on the ground, fair, inside third, down the left field line, a base hit. Cedeno going for two. The throw by the left fielder, Quentin to second base, hit for sliding double, Ronnie Cedeno. Cubs have a man at second with nobody out here in the bottom of the ninth inning. The third baseman, Creedy, was playing shallow. Cedeno pulling a ground ball between Creedy and the bag. The ball fair by maybe a foot, if that. Matt Merton to pinch hit for Mike Fontenot. Alfonso Soriano is on deck. The corner infielders play shallow as Merton takes inside. He did not indicate bunt. And again, sometimes in a spring game, the strategy is a little bit different than what a manager might do in a regular season game in a similar circumstance. Merton takes down low. Sometimes in the spring, you just want to see guys swing away and take a look at their stroke and see how their timing is. Whereas in the regular season, you might have a guy laying down a bunt in a spot like this. Not always, but sometimes. The 2-0. Merton takes inside, ball three. There is some action in the Sox pen. Ozzie Guillen has a right-hander throwing. Nobody out. Bottom of the ninth inning. Let's see if Merton can reach and really make things interesting. He does. It's ball four. It gets away from the catcher and down to third goes Cedeno. Boone Logan throws a wild pitch on ball four. The tying run is now 90 feet away. The potential winning run is on first. And Alfonso Soriano is the batter. And let's see if Ozzie Guillen stays with the lefty to face Soriano, or if he might think about opting to bring in a right-hander. Derek Lee on deck. Soriano can win it with a long ball. Infield back. Fastball strike, 0-1. One of the few times Soriano would take a fastball on a first pitch right down the middle. Normally he's jumping on that pitch. Ron Santo, trying to beat the traffic, has left for the day. The pitch off the inside, and the count now 1-1. Nobody out, bottom of the ninth. Most of the crowd of 12,859 has hung around. And they've seen a good ball game today. Boone Logan's pitch. Swung on and missed. 1-2 on Soriano. Now here's a spot, especially with that infield back, where Soriano really wants to make contact and put the ball in play and at least get the tying run in. Logan's pitch. Soriano taps it foul. 1-2. Outfield deep and straight away. Soriano today, nothing for 4, struck out twice. 5-4 White Sox, nobody out, first and third, and the strike 2 pitch. Fouled away, back to the screen. Cubs were down 4-0 at one time, came back with a 4-run rally in the 6th. The White Sox took the lead in the top of the ninth on a 2-out long opposite field homer by Juan Uribe. And now the Cubs trying to answer in the bottom of the ninth. Soriano takes inside, almost a wild pitch. Good save by Phillips. Phillips made a good throw earlier, makes a nice save of a pitch in the dirt here. Soriano led the Cubs with 33 home runs last season. And the 2-2. Lifted to right, pretty well hit. Back goes Dye. Back toward the wall. At the track, makes the catch. Tagging and scoring is Cedeno. The game is tied 5-5. Holding at first is Merton. Soriano gave it a deep drive to right. Jermaine Dye went back to the wall right in front of the Cubs bullpen and hauled it in. The game is tied at 5. That's going to be all for the pitcher Boone Logan, as Ozzie Guillen does want to bring in a right-hander to face Derek Lee. I think we told you that Merton, the runner at first, held at first as Cedeno scored the tying run on the sac fly by Soriano. It's tied at 5. For a quick oil change, go to Jiffy Lube, a new White Sox pitcher coming in. It's all tied at 5, bottom of the 9th on the WGN Cubs Radio Network. The new right-handed pitcher for the White Sox is Mike McDougall. The situation inherited by McDougall. One away, a run in, a man at first in a 5-5 tie here in the bottom of inning number 9. And Derek Lee will be the first Cub to face Mike McDougall. McDougall with the Sox a year ago really struggled. He was in 54 games. His record was 2-5. His ERA 6.8. He gave up 50 hits in 42 innings, but it might have been the 33 walks in those 42 innings that really hurt him. Okay, here's Derek Lee. Merton, not an adventuresome base runner, leading at first. He is being held on by Konerko. McDougall to Lee. Here we go. The pitch. Derek takes a curve down low, ball 1. The totals are identical. 5 runs, 9 hits, and no errors on both sides. Creedy not really guarding the line at third. There's a space of about, I'd say a good 10 feet between Joe and the line. He is playing deep against Lee. Ronnie Cedeno has scored the tying run on the sac fly by Alfonso Soriano. Now the pitch. Lee takes a curve for a strike, and it's even. After today, the next time these two teams face each other will be in the interleague regular season package, 3 at Wrigley and 3 on the south side, all in the final 2 weekends of June. And the next offering, Lee checks and takes down low. 2 balls and 1 strike. 3 straight breaking balls by McDougall to Lee. The outfielders back up a few steps. Not only do you always play deep against Derek Lee, But an outfielder does not want a ball hit over his head, which could allow the winning run to score from first. The pitch. Off the inside edge, 3-1. Another breaking ball. Let's see if Lee finally gets a fastball. And let's keep an eye on Merton at first. He might be scampering on this pitch. One away in a tie game, bottom of the ninth. Merton leads. He's not going. Lee takes ball 4. It was a fastball, but it was low and away. And now the batter is Micah Hoffbar. McDougal really working carefully to Derek Lee, kept the breaking stuff down and away, and the only fastball he showed him really wasn't close, and that was ball 4. Now the potential winning run in scoring position, and Micah Hoffbar having a banner spring. Left-handed batter to face Mike McDougal. 5-5 tie, one away, bottom of the ninth. McDougal's offering. Bouncing ball to second. Scooped up by Osuna. Goes to Uribe. One over to first. That's a double play. And the inning is over. McDougal serves up the double play grounder. Hit into by Micah Hoffbar. So the Cubs do not score after they tie the game on the sac fly. They get a run on a hit and leave one. We go to the 10th inning here in Mesa. It's the Cubs 5 and the White Sox 5.
From the WGN newsroom.
Scott Air, the new pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. Yeah, looked like the Cubs might be able to win it in regulation there for a moment, but Micah Hoffbar wrapped into the double play. 4-6-3, a made-to-order double play ball. So we go on to the 10th inning here in Mesa. And again, the great majority of fans have hung around on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. The temperature in the mid-80s. Very little breeze. Now that I say that, a little wind has picked up. It's blowing out toward right. Low humidity. No clouds in the sky. Perfect conditions for a ball game. And we thank you for joining us as we move to inning number 10. Jermaine Dye leads it off. Scott Air misses outside for ball 1. Dye today, nothing for 4. Grounded out, popped out, flied out, and struck out. Air from the stretch delivers. Dye pulls a sharp ground ball to third, picked cleanly by Casey McGehee, and he throws to first in time. One away. McGehee replacing Aramis Ramirez defensively at first. Micah Hoffpar has stayed in the game at first base. So Derek Lee is gone. So is Ramirez. And there's also a new left fielder for the Cubs as Soriano has left for the day. That's Matt Merton. Meanwhile, Scott Air deals to Joe Creedy outside for a ball. Cubs 5, White Sox 5, top of the 10th inning. Air, a former White Sox, ready in the pitch. In there for a called strike, and it's even. One ball and one strike on Joe Creedy. Now the pitch. Pulled on the ground fair inside third, past a diving McGehee into the left field corner area. A fan reaches over the railing and interferes, and that'll be a double for Joe Creedy with one away here in the 10th inning. Creedy pulling one right over the third base bag, a hot smash, just fair. And he's at second with only one away here in the 10th. And now both teams starting to substitute pretty freely, as Creedy will leave for a pinch runner at second base. And I believe that is one of the extras they brought along, a youngster by the name of Oni Guillen. Here's the pitch. Off the inside corner to Quentin, ball one. 10 hits for the Sox. 5-5 tie, top of the 10th. Quentin 1 for 3, also hit by a pitch this afternoon. Air's delivery. That's a strike, and the count now is 1-1. Cubs will have the 4, 5, and 6 spots due up in the bottom of this 10th inning. Quentin takes low and inside, and the count 2-1. The Cubs' only day off between now and opening day would be a week from tomorrow. But I believe that the Cubs will have a workout that day. That's the Sunday prior to opening day. Here's a line drive up the middle, base hit to center, and the Sox are going to take the lead. Oni Guillen comes in to score on a base hit by Carlos Quentin, and the White Sox now lead 6-5 here in the top of the 10th. A soft line drive right past the mound. Scott Air just couldn't react quickly enough to try to stick the glove out and knock the ball down. The ball landed on the grass and then skipped into center between the shortstop Cedeno and the bag. And the Sox have their third different lead of the afternoon. The Cubs have never led. Here's Brian Anderson. Checking and taking outside for ball one. Quentin delivering the RBI single. He's at first, being held on by Hoffpar. And the next offering misses outside, and the count now is 2-0. Short lead at first by Quentin, and now Air's next delivery. Off the inside edge, 2 balls and 1 strike on Brian Anderson. Anderson with a pair of singles drove in a run with a base hit back in the 4th. Both starters were impressive today. Their numbers won't be all that eye-popping, but both Ted Lilly and Javier Vasquez threw the ball very well. And here is a pitch outside, ball 4 to Brian Anderson. White Sox lead by a run, top of the 10th, 1 away, now runners at first and second. And here is Paul Phillips. Scott Air certainly figures to be part of the Cubs bullpen. He may or may not be the only left-hander in the pen when the regular season starts. Here's the first pitch down low for a ball. I'll tell you, one guy who has really pitched well is Carmen Pignatello. I mentioned earlier, Carmen has not yet, he's a left-handed reliever, by the way. Carmen has not yet allowed a run, spanning some 6 1/3 innings. And opposing hitters are hitting only 105 against Pignatello. Here's a pitch down low for a ball, and it's 2-0. And Larry Rothschild will head to the mound to visit with Scott Air. But the Cubs bullpen, the locks in the pen certainly are the three at the back end. The three guys vying for the closer spot, and those would be Kerry Wood, Bobby Howry, and Carlos Marmol. They are certainly going to be part of the Cubs bullpen. I would think because of the contract situation of Scott Air that he is certainly a lock to be on the opening day roster. Michael Wirtz is a lock based on good service over the past few years and a perfect spring in which Wirtz has not allowed a run in 8 innings. Here is ball 3, 3-0. Air got the first man in the inning, but then has given up a double, a single, and a walk. Now the 3-0 pitch on the way to Phillips, and it's in for a strike. Lou Piniella probably will carry 7 bullpen men to begin the regular season, 12 total, 5 starters, 7 bullpen guys. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit in the air to left center. This ball is trouble. In the alley, deep, back toward the wall, bouncing over the fence for a ground rule double. And that ground rule double saved another run because Anderson would have scored easily from first had it stayed in the park. And now the White Sox lead 7-5. Paul Phillips cracking one deep into left center. It bounced on the warning track and hopped up over the fence. And the Sox now with an insurance run. Quentin scored. Anderson motored to third, had to hold there. He actually scored standing up, but was not aware that the ball bounced over the barrier. Infield ends, second and third. And here is Josh Fields taking outside for a ball. Fields, an impressive young player. He plays third base. And he's been battling Joe Creedy for that starting job at third all spring. The 1-0 to Fields is upstairs, ball 2, 2-0. Outfield is straight away. 2 runs in, 1 away. Runners lead at second and third. The pitch. Fields looks at a strike. And with that infield in, the runner at second, Phillips, can get a gigantic lead. He's not worried about where the shortstop is because with the infield in, he can see right where the shortstop is in front of him. Here's a looper foul off to the right, and all you have to do as a runner at second is glance to your left to see where the second baseman is with the infield in. It's a much different story when the infield is back and you're running at second base. You constantly are wondering where the shortstop is. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch. Got him swinging on a breaking ball. 2 down. Air strikes out Fields, 2 outs. And back to the top of the order for Pablo Osuna. White Sox 7, Cubs 5. Top of inning number 10. And the first pitch, swing and a miss. A good change of pace, 0-1. Cubs got a run in the bottom of the ninth, and we're threatening with 2 on and only 1 away. Here's a swing and a miss. 0-2. Air with a good changeup. But Mike McDougall able to work out of a ninth-inning jam by getting Micah Hoffpar to wrap into a double play. And now the Sox have scored twice here in the top of the 10th. Here's the pitch. Very high, a fastball. 1-2. Some of the fans have headed for the exit. Still, a great majority of the 12,000 plus have hung around. Here's a pitch pulled foul toward the White Sox third base dugout, and it's still 1-2. White Sox looking for their 10th win of the spring against 14 losses. Cubs in danger of falling to 10-15 unless they can rally. And the next pitch in the dirt, and that'll even up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. A 1-out double by Joe Creedy. That started the rally. Carlos Quentin singled to drive in the go-ahead run. After Brian Anderson walked, Paul Phillips' double has given the Sox a 7-5 advantage. Here's a bouncer slowly hit to the right side. Tough play, and that's going to be a base hit, and another run is in. A little tapper to the right side. Hoffpar, the first baseman, charged it. It was out of his range. The second baseman, Patterson, charged it, eventually got to the ball, but by the time he touched it, Osuna was diving into first with an infield RBI single. And the White Sox have scored again, and it is 8-5. As soon as that ball was hit, it had trouble written all over it. Here's Juan Uribe taking down low, ball 1. Uribe had a 9th-inning solo home run, which gave the Sox a short-lived 5-4 lead. And he is the 8th man to bat against a struggling Scott Air here in the 10th. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike on Juan Uribe. Uribe with 3 hits today and 3 runs batted in. Here's a little tapper back to the mound. Scott Air has it. He'll throw to first to finally end the inning. But the White Sox break through and score 3 times in the 10th. So the Cubs need a big rally as we go to the bottom half. It's the White Sox 8 and the Cubs 5. another minor leaguer called over from the White Sox camp, will work the bottom of the 10th inning. And the Cubs are down by 3 runs. Same broadcast tomorrow, same time, I should say. Cubs take on San Diego over in Peoria. They'll get underway about 3:05 Central Time. And again, the pitchers tomorrow, Jason Marquis to start for the Cubs and Greg Maddux to start for San Diego. Monday, Ryan Dempster is going to pitch the game against Texas. And when I say pitch the game, I'm talking about probably the first 5, maybe 6 innings. Cubs will wrap up play this week in Arizona with a game in Scottsdale against the Giants on Tuesday, a game against the Angels in Tempe Wednesday, and then the final Arizona spring game this Thursday against Milwaukee. Okay, Kosuke Fukudome leading off the Cubs' 10th inning, takes outside ball 1. Twice the Cubs have battled from behind today. Can they do it a third time? Torres fires a strike, 1-1. Now the right-hander, the big leg kick and the pitch. Here's a bouncing ball wide of third, into left field, a base hit. Fukudome, a leadoff single. Some defensive changes. I believe that's Oni Guillen playing third base. He had that ball skip under his glove as he moved to his left. The shortstop Uribe knocked it down on the edge of the outfield grass. That's a base hit all the way for Fukudome. His third hit of the day, by the way. And here's Eric Patterson. Cubs have 10 hits. They'll need some more to win this one. They trail by 3 in the bottom of the 10th. First pitch, low, ball 1. And the next offering misses inside. It's 2-0 on Patterson. Eric in the game since the 6th inning has bounced into a fielder's choice and flied to right. Shallow at third is Oni Guillen. There's a fastball high, 3-0. It's Patterson's job right here to get on base any old way he can. He would gladly take a walk. That would, of course, get the tying run to the plate. Ball 4. He did his job. Patterson gets on. Two on with nobody out, and Henry Blanco about ready to step in and bat for the first time for the Cubs. Meanwhile, pitching coach Don Cooper heads to the mound for the Sox to see about Torres. Pablo Osuna has moved over to third base. Osuna was playing second base earlier, so he's now at third. And that's Oni Guillen at second base. Blanco, the tying run, takes a fastball strike, and it's 0-1. We are told this is the final inning of the game, regardless of how many runs the Cubs score. This will go 10 innings only. Blanco hits a pop fly into shallow right. Coming on his die, he loses the ball in the sun. Everybody moves up 90 feet, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. Jermaine Dye never saw that ball in right field. And that tells you how tricky the sun is in Arizona. Jermaine Dye, a veteran of hundreds of big league games. And those veterans have played in all kinds of conditions. They know all the tricks about blocking the sun out and trying to locate the ball, but nothing worked that time for Dye. He didn't come close to it. They're loaded with nobody out, and here is Felix P.A. Infield back the pitch. P.A. takes a strike. Outfield straightaway. PA 1 for 4, had a run-scoring single back in the 6th. 8-5 White Sox in the 10th. Here's a chopper foul right side, 0-2. Fukudome at third, Patterson at second, and Blanco the tying run at first. Torres pitched to PA. Curveball is high, 1-2. This is about the greatest number of fans that I've ever seen for the 10th inning of a Cactus League game. Normally, by this time, you've got maybe a third of the park still occupied with fans, and the other 2/3 of the fans have already gone home and headed out. But it's such a nice day. It's been a good game. And it's a Cubs and Sox game. Here's a pitch fouled away. Still 1-2 to Felix PA. Torres fires. Ball 2, low and away, 2-2. White Sox got 3 in the top of the 10th. Cubs trying to retaliate. The pitch. Big chop back to the mound. The throw home by the pitcher. In time, they get 1, and that's all. PA chopping one back toward the mound to the first base side of the hill. Torres grabbed the one hopper and then came home for the force. We are told this is not Carlos Torres. Instead, this is a guy by the name of Brian Omogrosso. 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 1 out, bases loaded, 8-5 White Sox. And here is Ronnie Cedeno. Swinging and missing, and it's 0-1. PA at first now becomes the tying run as he hit into the fielder's choice. Cedeno doubled his only time up, leading off the 9th inning, and eventually he scored the tying run. Outside ball 1. Infield back for the White Sox. Cedeno swings and misses at a curveball. 1-2. From the stretch, the right-hander Omogrosso deals. A breaking ball in the dirt, skillfully blocked by Phillips, and it's 2-2. Cubs were down 4-0, came back to get even. They were down 5-4, came back to get even. They're down 8-5 in the 10th. 1 away, bases loaded. Outside, 3-2. Matt Merton on deck. Ronnie Cedeno with a full count and the bases loaded. The right-hander delivers. Outside to force in a run, and it's 8-6. Eric Patterson comes in to score. The other men move up 90. Now a base hit could tie the game. An extra base hit could give the Cubs a win. Here is Merton. Omogrosso walking his second man in the inning. Certainly a no-no when your team leads by 3 in the last inning. Here's the pitch. Line toward right. Guy, does he see it? It's over his head. This is going to tie the game. 2-run score. Cedeno to third on a double by Merton. Game tied 8-8. Jermaine Dye lost another ball in the sun in right field. At the last second, he leaped up. He got a glove on it, but could not hold on. And now the Cubs with a chance to win it with only 1 away. Merton hit the ball hard, but it was a playable, catchable ball in right. Guy lost it. He was blocking his eyes, blocking the sun with his glove from his eyes. At the last second, made a awkward-looking jump and dropped the ball. And Casey McGehee batting for the Cubs. McGehee takes inside ball one. A wild game here in Mesa. Lots of action today. We hope you're enjoying it. We'll do it again tomorrow. 8-8, bottom of the 10th. Cubs trying to pull it out. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Infield in, and the outfield moves in. Cedeno, the winning run, 90 feet away with only one down. Merton at second, but his run doesn't mean a thing. McGehee waits. The pitch. Swinging a foul back, and now it's 1-2. Two singles, two walks, a double, and two balls lost in the sun by the right fielder Jermaine Dye in this 10th inning. Here's the pitch. Fouled away by McGehee. Still 1-2. One and two on McGehee. Omogrosso ready in the pitch. Outside, and the count now 2-2. Two and two on Casey McGehee. The pitch by Omogrosso. Swung on and missed. He got him. Two down. Boy, McGehee with a golden chance to drive in the winning run. Strikes out a good sharp curve. Two outs. And the batter will be Sam Fuld. Now there are two outs in a tie game. Sam Fuld batting for the first time today. First pitch, a strike, and it's 0-1. Cubs got one in the bottom of the 9th to get even. They've gotten three here in the bottom of the 10th to get even. And Fuld hits the ground ball to short. It is scooped up by Uribe, throws to first in time. And that retires the side, and I believe that's going to wrap up this ball game here today. I think they're going to call it after 10. I see the umpires starting to walk off the field. Yep, it's going to go down as a tie ball game in 10 innings here at Hohokam Park in Mesa. Lots of action, a lot of fun. Good ball game today. It ends in an 8-8 tie. Back to wrap things up with the totals after this on the WGN Cubs Radio Network. wild one ends in an 8-8 tie here at Hohokam Park in Mesa today. The game totals for the Chicago White Sox 8 runs on 13 hits and no errors. The Chicago Cubs 8 runs on 14 hits and no errors. Obviously no winning or losing pitchers in a tie game in a ball game that required some 3 hours and 15 minutes to play. 10 innings, it ends in an 8-8 tie. The attendance, one of the biggest crowds they've ever had at a spring game here at this park, 12,859. Our thanks to Ryan Oler, our producer-engineer, for a job well done. Please stay tuned for Jim Memolo. Jim Memolo has the post-game show coming up in just a moment. A reminder, our next broadcast is tomorrow afternoon at 3:05 over in Peoria, Arizona, where the Cubs will take on the San Diego Padres. For Ron Santo, Pat Hughes saying thanks for listening once again. In 10 innings, a tie ball game today. The final, the Chicago Cubs 8 and the Chicago White Sox 8. This has been a presentation of the WGN Cubs Radio Network.